It's not many times that I come on here and I tell you how a book has transformed my life, literally from the beginning, from chapter 1 to the last chapter, and I felt like it's worth me sharing with you guys and tell you what I have learned from this book. So the book we're talking about is Hell Yeah, Oh No by Derek Sivers. Now this very particular book has 67 chapters, but the chapters are very, very short. They're about a 2-minute read each chapter. I read this particular book on Audible and it took me about 2 hours. A very short read book, but it has profound lessons. I wanted to share all the lessons I can share with you that I got from this book, but I'm only going to share with you 7 lessons that I got from this book. So sit tight, because I guarantee you these lessons are going to transform your life just like how they have transformed my life. For those who are new on here and do not know who I am, my name is Lucy. I talk about self-help books, I review books on here, and I help you channel what I read from the book into actual physical, practical ways. And sometimes I tell you if a book is worth reading or it's not worth reading, because you're spending your money to buy that book. So I want you, every single time you think about picking that book, you go back to this video and it helps you decide whether you can read a book or actually not, based on my own personal opinion. Okay, I'm only saying that because 75% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed, so I'm trying to get you guys to kind of subscribe so you can see a little bit more of this. But let's jump right into the book. So number 1, actions, not words, reveal your intentions. Saying something does not make it true. Now, Derek did explain to a scholar and tell this scholar about his intentions to be something, and he replied back to him saying that just because you have said it does not mean that you're actually going to do it, and actually you are not going to do it. So Derek, in his thoughts, he thought about what the scholar had said and said to him, that actually sounds wrong to me. What about people who want to learn languages or create businesses but haven't yet started? What about people who want to quit smoking or quit their jobs but haven't been able to? The scholar said to him, if they really wanted to do it, they would have done it. So the true lesson that I learned from this is that if you really want to do something, you're going to do it. You're not going to wait for any validation. You're not going to wait for anybody else to tell you how you should do it. If you want to do something, you're going to do it. The reason as why you're not doing that particular thing is because you do not want to do it. It's because you don't have the urge to do it. It sounds funny, but if you think about it over and over again, it actually makes sense. Saying to yourself that I'm going to start going to the gym does not actually mean that you will go to the gym or you're going to be successful without weight loss. If you really wanted to go to the gym, you would literally just go. Wake up in the morning and find yourself in the gym. If you wanted to learn a new language, you're not going to say to yourself, maybe I'll learn a new language next month. The truth of the matter is, you're not going to learn that new language. Why? If you really wanted to learn that new language, you would have gone ahead and learnt it even without extending the time period. So that lesson was very good because it's something that I personally say to myself, and I always say that I will, but it never happens because I really don't want to do it. The laziness is still there. So I learned a lesson and I say to myself, if I'm going to sort out my finance, because that's something that I really struggle with, I just have to do it. Because if I keep saying that I will, it means I really do not want to, and it's never going to happen. Lesson number 2, someone will always say you're wrong. People have different preferences in different parts of their lives. Famous online, but anonymous in their neighborhood. Generous with time, but stingy with money. Introvert when working, but extrovert where not. You have to know your preferences well, because no matter what you do, someone will tell you you are wrong. If you're not into money, many people will say you're foolish. If you're not into charity, many people will say you're greedy. If you're not into crowds, many people will say you're missing out. This is a very good lesson for even you who is watching this particular video. In everything that you do, someone is always going to judge. You can give a homeless person money and someone will stand on the street and tell you what you have just done is wrong. You can give money to charity, but people will still say it's absolutely wrong. So every single day and every single moment of your life, someone is always going to judge your actions about what you're doing. So the question that I want to put out to you is that what is actually limiting you? Because if you're scared that people are going to judge you, people are going to say something, I guarantee you 100%, 1,000,000,000 times that someone is always going to say that what you're doing is wrong. It's inevitable. It's a cycle of life. It's the way people see things. Now, I learned this lesson made me realize that sometimes I have a fear of expressing myself online or showing up to what I truly feel within my own self. And I say to myself, whether I show up as this person, they'll say I'm wrong. And if I show up as the other person, they'll still say I am wrong. So show up as the best way that you feel you want to show up that makes you actually happy. So if you're watching this and it's something that you want to start or something that you want to say or a step that you want to take in your life, go ahead and do it. Because regardless of whether you do it now or later or pull it off, someone will always say something is wrong. So you're better off just doing it. Number 3, character predicts the future. Derek goes ahead and talks about this story. He says, 15 years later, I came back to New York and met with many of the people I hadn't seen then. Every single one of them had ended up about where you'd expect, based on their character. Character isn't fate or destiny. Character isn't DNA, decided before birth. Character is the result of your life choices and your little actions. How you do anything is how you do everything. It all matters. Your actions are completely under control and seem to be the best indicator of your future success. Now, there is something that I'll never ever forget. I went to church one time and the preacher said that altitude can take you up, but attitude can take you further in life. Your attitude is what is going to determine your future and your character. Your attitude towards yourself, your attitude towards the things you do, your attitude towards how you speak, the attitude towards everybody around you is what takes you higher and higher. Yes, maybe your talent will take you somewhere else, your talent can put you in rooms and can take you in different places, but it's your attitude that will take you further, because every room you step in, yes, your talent speaks for you, but what does your character say about you? So it predicts your future. The things that you do now, the actions that you do now are going to predict how far you can go in life and how much you can achieve in life. That is something that I have come to realize, that even online, you like people, you follow people based on their own character, based on their attitude, how they react to things and how they are with things. And that can predict someone's future based on how they are. If your character or your attitude is very negative, trust and believe your future is going to be filled of negative things over and over again. When you speak negativity, that is what is going to happen, because that's your attitude. Character is something that you build, you make. Like he explained and he said, character is not DNA. You're not born with that character by birth. You make that character your own self, and you can change that character yourself. And I was like, Derek, this is amazing. The quote in that particular one was, how you do anything is how you do everything. Let me tell you something. This very particular quote is something I live by, and it's something that always reminds me. Sometimes I just do something and I'm like, oh, it's not mine, I really don't care. Then I remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. The fact that you don't care that that thing is not for you, trust and believe you're going to do other things like that. If you go for a job like late, or you turn up somewhere late, it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. You set the pace for everything else in your life. And I'm just like, okay. It has been said over and over again, is that if I do anything in my life, I want to do it with my whole heart, wholeheartedly, and not just leave it half done, half here. A lot of times I used to find hesitation because I never commit to something. Someone can ask me to do something and I'll tell them, no, I'm not going to do it now. But when I'm ready, I do commit 1,000 and a million times. When I do something, I will refuse to do something, and it can upset a lot of people. But I tell them, if I say yes, I'm saying yes to make you happy. But the result is going to be horrible because my attitude is not ready. I am not in a mindset where I can push this thing through. But when I say yes to something, I actually commit and do something. When I want to meet a friend for a birthday and I know it's her birthday, this is something anybody will say. If I'm going to meet anybody, trust and believe I'm going to commit to that occasion, that party 100%. I'll even go above and beyond because I have made the commitment to be there. So I'm going to make it count. Lesson number 4 is motivation is delicate. Let's read. He says, when you notice your motivation fading, you have to seek out the subtle cause. A simple twack or tweak can make all the difference between achieving something or not. Now, I remember he was talking about this whole story whereby he was driving up the mountain, and this mountain is a very steep mountain, so he would go around the mountain, and then at the end it's very steep, so he ended up driving a little bit slow. Now, people behind, if you are a driver, I tell you it's very annoying when you're driving behind a slow driver. So he explained that people behind have driven around that mountain so many times, like so many times, that they know their way around, but for him he's not used to the road, so he's a little bit slow and it's very steep, you know. The kids are worried because he keeps on braking, driving, and they're like, oh, they feel so sick. And he loved driving there, but the thing is that it made other people uncomfortable, and at the end of the day you feel so bad and you feel so much on pressure on the way that you drive that you're not enjoying the drive. So one of the tweaks that he did is that he decided that he was going to drive as slow as he can. It takes about 30 minutes on that road and you can't overtake whatsoever, but then after that, when you get on a dual carriage road or whatever, you know, easier road, you can overtake. But he said that for 30 minutes on that road it can be very frustrating, but he did a simple tweak. He changed his mirror, and it's something that I do, I'm guilty. He tilted his mirror that he could not see the people at the back. They were really annoyed and hooting and trying to tell him, can you move a little bit faster? That way he was able to drive peacefully, enjoy the drive for the 30 minutes that he's on that road before he goes to another road and people overtake him, which was very profound. That small little change took pressure off him. The children were enjoying the drive. He didn't have to worry about the people at the back, which makes a huge massive difference. Another example I can give you is that when I read the book Atomic Habits, if you get that book, at the very start of the book, he does give an example of the British cyclists, and the British cyclists were failing, like they were not achieving any medals and they were not scoring at all, to an extent that bike companies did not want to give them their bikes to use for the Olympics because it would give them a bad reputation, because people will start thinking that the problem is the bikes, not the riders, because we all know the riders are good. So what are the bikes doing? Then he said that he did little changes. For example, he painted the room a lighter color. He changed their bed sheets to a bit softer, nice bed sheets. And those little tweaks and those little changes made a massive difference. From then till now, they have been winning the Olympics back to back. It's not that they changed the bikes. It's not that they changed the players. They just made little changes and little tweaks. And that is something that I live by, and something that I learned is that you don't have to make big changes to see a difference. You can make just tiny little changes to a lot of things in your life, and honestly, it will make a difference. If your commitment is to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, if you make a little difference of saying 10 minutes today, 20 minutes tomorrow, 30 minutes the next day, it does make a really massive big change. It's just a simple tweaks that you can do, things that you can change that can actually help. Book, he gives an example. It could be emails, maybe turning off those notifications and not receiving those emails, maybe taking off your comments on social media. Just turning them off can give you a little bit of peace of mind. I have personally gone through my Instagram following and I have deleted so many people that were giving me heartache. You know, people that you're just thinking, I will not engage, let the content just pass through, I will not engage. But over time, I've been feeling overwhelmed. And I tell you, when I just made that little change of sitting down every day and taking off 50 people every single day, 50 people that I follow that are not really helping me, it has made a huge difference. I go on someone's page, I scroll through the page and I say, what am I going to learn from this particular page? If I don't see something that I'm going to learn or something that is motivating me, I am unfollowing, regardless of how beautiful that content is or how nice it looks. I am just going to unfollow. And I would say that's something that you could try, because that is going to be a lifesaver for you if you do that, because I feel so much of a difference. It can be even YouTube, maybe turning off comments or filtering your comments. Just little changes can help motivate you and make you feel better. Point number 5, I think so. You love and make good money. Now, on this very particular point, he says that people with a well-paying job always ask him for his advice because they want to quit to become full-time artists. But full-time artists ask him for advice because they are finding it impossible to make money. Remember, one man's meat is another man's poison. He goes on to say that don't expect your job to fulfill all your emotional needs. Don't taint something you love with the need to make money from it. Don't try to make your job your whole life. Don't try to make your art your sole income. Let each be what it is and put in the extra effort to balance the two for a great life. Something I've always struggled with, and a lesson that we can all learn from that. Something that you make money from and something that you absolutely love. Another man's meat and another man's poison. Other people are complaining, God, can you give me 400k a year? Other people are saying, I'm so done and tired of this 400k a year. I just want independence and go away from that. But finding a balance between something that you love and you get money from and something that you enjoy to do that gives you kind of satisfaction, you can never have a bit of both, so you always have to find a balance. Don't fully commit to money and don't fully commit to a hobby, because the universe will find that there is unequalness, so there is an imbalance within yourself. So it will always make you uncomfortable. Just do things to the best of your full potential. Love them to the best of how you can love them, and that way you can enjoy yourself. And I tell you, that lesson has helped me understand that right now I'm in a full-time job, and me being in a full-time job, sometimes I wonder and I say, I am so tired of this. I do not want to do this no more. I'm tired of this full-time job. I just want to get money from this content creation. And I'm like, Lucy, sit down. Sit tight. Enjoy the time that you have your full-time job, because if your social media ever blows up and does extremely well and you start working for yourself, you'll get to a point whereby you'll think, I wish I still had my full-time job. So enjoy every moment of it. Have a balance of both worlds and love it. Lesson 6. I feel like I've mixed them up a bit, but let's get to lesson 6. The mirror is about you, not about he them. Goes and he explains that when he goes to a bookstore and he buys a book, and that book has the author on the cover or at the back of the book, he always tears the book cover off and reads the book without the author on it, because he says it's very better, or it's much better, to separate the author of the book and the information in the book. He says, regardless of who the author is and what the picture says and whatever stigma and whatever name that person has, it doesn't take away from the information that you've learned from that person. Now, the very example that he gives, that if someone teaches you a new language and then you find out that this person is a murderer, does it take away the fact that they are good at teaching you a language? No, it doesn't. Is still good at teaching you that the language. There is always two truths. You know, one truth can be like someone is an actual murderer, but the other truth can be that this person is actually a good father or a good mother. Okay, it doesn't make the children that love their mother or their dad bad children because they say we love you dad or we love you mom, but it also doesn't take away the truth that this person actually did kill people. One quote that he says that is that what matters is what he gets out of the work of the people that he gets the books from. Like, for example, he tears off the paper. He says it's not the person that made it, but the information that you get out of it. He says, he often tells people about a great book that will help them, but sometimes they dismiss that book because they had something they didn't like about the author. What I think they are really saying is, now I have proven that the messenger is not perfect. I don't have to listen to anything they say. But the act of reading a book is really about you and what you get from it. All that matters is what you do with the ideas, no matter the source. Apply them to your own life. It's just so important. It's very, very important. I recently read the book, which is Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. But recently this year, he was under a lot of fire, under a lot of scrutiny. People saying he's not a real monk. There are lies, there are faults, there are loopholes. We need to dig through this. What is happening is going to be cancelled. And the whole cancel thing had started on him. I still picked up the book and I read it. And I said when I did that book review, which you'll see very soon, is that Jay Shetty is who he is and what he has done. But the information and the knowledge that he gives in the book is another thing. I'm reading the book for what I can learn from that book and transform my own life. I'm not reading this book to understand who he is and read his character, because people are human beings and they're very different. And that is something that I say, that you have to separate two things. You have to separate a lot of things and not put all things together. And it comes to cancel culture. There is a lot of cancel culture that happens every single minute, every single month, every single day. Someone is being cancelled. Okay, you may not know, you may think everything is silent. Thank God you're not on social media saying who are being cancelled, but people are being cancelled left and right, just because people have failed to separate two things, away from each other. And I'm gonna say this, I'm very guilty for this when it comes to some particular artist's music. I've always listened to his music since I was a child. Some of you will guess who it is, but this person is in prison. But every single time when his music comes on, I find myself singing, and then I stop myself. I'm like, oh no, he's cancelled. No, we're not listening to him. But sometimes the music and the artist, I need to separate the two. Okay, let's leave that at that. Lesson number 7 is goals shape the present, not the future. Derek says, you have a goal you have been putting off. You want to do it someday. You have been meaning to take real action on it, but could not use more motivation. Let it go. It's a bad goal. If you have been thinking about doing this particular thing for a very long time, setting this goal for a very long time, and you haven't done it till this day, let it just go. It's not worth it. It's not a good goal. And he goes ahead and he explains by saying, if it was a great goal, you would have jumped into action already. You wouldn't wait. Nothing would stop you. The purpose of goals is not to improve the future. The future does not exist. It's only our imagination. All that exists is the present moment and what you do in it. Judge a goal by how well it changes your actions in the present moment. Okay. What you do now is what matters, because the actions and the things that we do now are what I have so many goals that I've said that I want to accomplish. I have not accomplished them. 1 year I set it as a New Year's resolution. The next year it's the same New Year's resolution. The third year is the next year's resolution. The fourth year is the next year resolution. And it's always a goal, but I've not done it. And it made me realize that it's a bad goal. It's a bad goal. It's not worth you achieving or pursuing it. Let it go. Start again on something different. Just let that go away. It's a bad goal, because honestly speaking, remember what we said in the very beginning, that actions, not words. Just you saying something does not make it true or does not make it right. It's the fact that, are you actually acting and doing something about that, or you're just letting it be? He goes ahead and explains things to do with bad goals and good goals. This is where it gets interesting. A bad goal makes you say, I want to do that someday. A great goal makes you take action immediately. A bad goal is foggy, vague, and distant. A great goal is so clear, specific, and close you can almost touch it. A bad goal makes you say, I'm not sure how to start. With a great goal, you know exactly how it needs to be done. Some goals seem great. They impress your friends, satisfy an old wish, or are good for you. But unless it changes your actions right now, it's not a great goal. Find another variation that excites you. So true. I do not know how much I can add on this, but it's very, very, very profound. And it's something that I'm going to put into action starting from now. And something that I have subconsciously in my mind is like, if it's not giving me happiness, if it's very foggy, if it's not clear, if it's not specific, time-bound, measurable, realistic, attainable, then it's not a good goal. And that's it. And honestly speaking, those 7 lessons are just so profound. You have to pick up the book. I am literally going to leave the link of that book down below so you can pick up that book and read it. You're going to enjoy it and come back and say, you know what, Lucy, it was worth me reading. But we don't leave any book review without taking some key takeaways. Now, here are the key takeaways that I got from that book is that no matter what you tell the world or tell yourself, your actions reveal your real values. Your actions show what you actually really want. Success comes from doing, not declaring. public comments are just feedback on something you made, and this is something very, very profound. If I do a reel on Instagram and someone doesn't like it, or someone judges my character and thinks that's how I am, I no longer take it personally. I always say that that is just feedback on a fraction of who I am as a person. That's it. How you do anything is how you do everything. It all matters. That we've talked about. Your main obstacle to this amazing life will be your self-control. What matters is what I get out of a particular work, not the person who made it. And that, my dear friends, it brings us to the whole conclusion of this book. Tell me what you think about this book. I honestly want you to read this book. I'll try and put a link of that book itself down below, and you can read it for free if you wanted to, because I got the free version of it, and I say to myself, you know what, this is very interesting. So I read it on Audible, and I was reading the free version, which was like a PDF. It just really helped me, and I said, you know what, let us just get started with this. Okay, so anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Lucy. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you on the next video, because it's going to be another book review, maybe another lesson, or maybe something a little bit ranty. Who knows the mood that I'll be in. Okay, but until next time, ciao.